from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
We're ready for another one. We're running this back, 3 times now? We've been here for big games. We were at the Packers game as well on Thursday Night Football. Now it's Sunday night, Super Bowl matchup potentially. Woo! We got bets in. We got bets later to get to, boys. We got a hell of a game.
What a day, huh?
Honestly, yeah. People don't even know the type of day.
It's all right. Hey, we were downtown. It was a beautiful downtown.
Yep.
Unbelievable down there. We saw a bunch of people. So many Lions fans, by the way. A lot of people. Caleb said he was downtown yesterday at the Tin Roof. Said it was full of Buffalo Bills fans. There were Buffalo Bills fans. I'll tell you what, though. 100 times more Detroit Lions fans out there. Lions fans are ready to roll.
Bills Mafia did travel well, though. Like, me and Unc went down before the game last week for the Thursday night game, and there was, no Packers fans out there. So, seeing Bills Mafia, they're confident. We talked to a couple of them, Booner, on the street. They thought they were going to win, but this is a game of the year type of situation for both these teams. These are arguably, and I don't even think it's arguably at this point, the 1 and 2 teams, however you want to rank them, in the NFL right now. This is a Super Bowl type of matchup. And it's on prime time, not prime time, but game of the week type of slot. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. Could sway a lot of people just to continue to be on the Detroit Lions side, boys.
And they got the black unis coming out again.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Last time they repped those, we know what happened. Jared Goff caught a freaking touchdown. So this game is going to be, I think, a high-scoring game. It's like I said, a Super Bowl matchup. The Bills are looking for – they got their own things they're chasing. The AFC #1 seed, they've already – the division they've already locked up, but – They want to jump Kansas City, get that bye week. They're coming off a big loss to the Rams. It felt like, and I'm watching some national media, people saying the Bills overlooking the Rams, kind of looking towards the Lions, slept on them a little bit. This is the game. And the Lions got Levi Onwuzurike back, Josh Pascal back. They got DJ Reader back. They got their defensive line intact fully. This is the defensive line you are going to have into the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. That, to me, is the biggest storyline is, yes, there's still injuries, but they're getting a lot of those guys back. And that defensive line, man, happy to have them all together.
I'll just throw it out here, too, because there's, what were we, 30, 40 minutes away from game time. Lions did release the defensive line is back because guess who's not playing today? I don't know if this is a negative or a positive. Broderick Martin's inactive today. Healthy scratch, but
Broderick.
But I don't think it's a bad thing. People are like, oh, Broderick, what's going on with you? Have DJ Reader.
Yeah.
You have Aleem McNeil.
Is Pat O'Connor active?
Pat O'Connor. You have dudes out there right now. And if someone wants to sit here and be like, well, Broderick Martin's not giving us anything, and Pat O'Connor's a vet in this league. He knows what he has been playing at a high level. So I'm excited, to get guys back defensively. Like the fact you were able to beat the Green Bay Packers last week and you were able to go in there. What was that?
Mahomes hurt.
Oh, no. Patrick, oh my gosh, he just took a hit.
He didn't help out the field, too.
I thought you were saying some Noah Gray catches because I need 2 Noah Gray catches. But just getting the reinforcements back, being able to get through that 1 week, especially a Green Bay Packers team where people are like, hey, they're going to compete for the NFC North, the NFC, and you're able to get by them with no defensive line at all. Everyone was out. No Taylor Decker. And now it's like, okay, everyone's back. You have a Super Bowl matchup. We were talking to Bills fans down there, and I think they were famous Bills fans. People kept coming up to them, and I ended it with, hey, I'll see you at the Super Bowl, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what I looked him dead in the eye. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, hey, buddy, I'll see you at the Super Bowl. And he said, all right, you're right. Yeah, you will.
That's going to happen.
So, this is a Super Bowl matchup. And I was listening to 97.1 too on my way here today. They were saying, Rico, shout out Rico too. I know he was saying he doesn't think the Bills will even have a chance to go to the Super Bowl or something like that. He was like, it's going to be the Chiefs again. No, I think this Bills team's pretty good.
The Bills and Lions are the most complete teams in the NFL, and both of them are dealing with injuries on the defensive side. But you can't doubt that those are the number 1 and 2 offenses in the NFL, and they have a defensive head coach in Sean McDermott to allow them to play complementary football. And the Lions, the way that Aaron Glenn has been coaching that defense, they've been able to play complementary football. You can't look at a team like the Baltimore Ravens or the Philadelphia Eagles with the struggles on offense and compare them to the Bills or the Lions. So they're without a doubt. If you were to just look on paper at how two teams have played in the NFL up to this point and put them in the Super Bowl, it would be the Bills and the Lions. Yes, upsets can happen, but the Bills are the most complete team in the AFC. It's a down year for the Chiefs, weird year for the Ravens. The Steelers, I like the Steelers and what they're doing, but if you give me Russell Wilson at this point and Josh Allen in a playoff game, give me Josh Allen every time. Yeah,
Josh Allen's balling. I mean, he's MVP for a reason. The guy's not turning the ball over, which, I mean, I do think that eventually, I mean, he went through a streak a couple games ago where, had about an interception a game. It's going to happen. The guy's human. It happens to every quarterback. But I think the way Josh is playing right now in the Bills defense, like Matt Milano's back.
Yep.
They're without Rasul Douglas, which is big. And I don't know the Taylor Rapp if he's officially playing or not.
No, so, and I'll pull this up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And the Booner bets, guys, it switched up a lot. When I had to go over and go get something here before the show, and when I was driving back, I heard the inactives for the Bills. And as soon as I heard the inactives, I went, Booner bet, everything's changing here.
Yeah,
everything's changing here. So the inactives for the Buffalo Bills, guys, safety, Damar Hamlin. As much as people thought maybe, if you've watched the Bills this year, Damar Hamlin's been he's a starting safety for them. Him and Taylor Rapp are they're both starting safeties, and they play that's their top two guys back there.
So they're two starting safeties.
They both are out. Taylor Rapp out. Damar Hamlin out. Starting corner, Rasul Douglas out. Three of basically their 4 or 5 starting secondary players all out today. So, for me, when I look at that, and then linebacker Eddie Ufascio, I don't know, Quentin Jefferson, Casey Toohill, and Mike White all out. But Mike White out. But Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, and Rasul Douglas, that to me, instantly when I hear that, I'm like, Jared Goff. We've been talking about how this is going to be a running back game. As soon as you see that, guess what Ben Johnson and them do?
Oh, they're going to expose that.
We've talked about all week long how good Dan and Ben are at saying whatever their weaknesses are, we're going to use our strengths at that. Guess who that is? That's Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's all of them. And now it's like, okay, now we know what's going to happen. Legacy player, I had already bet this morning. I think I might have to re-bet and put a new bet on.
You know what that tells me, though, boys, is at least what I would anticipate from this Lions offense is, okay, secondary for the Bills is depleted. They have good pass rushers. They have a good interior pass rusher with that Oliver. They're going to be sending the house. Screen games all day. You're going to get a lot of screens to D-Mount, a lot of screens to Jameer, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think there'll be a lot of screens. And then when they start coming up, you're going to deep shot to J-Mo. So I think that they're going to be running the ball, obviously, but I think there's going to be a lot of screen games because how many times have we seen a little slip screen to David Montgomery that it turns into a 15, 20-yard gain? And when you have Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, whoever you want in front of D-Mon or Jameer in that situation on a backup defensive back, it's game over. So I'd expect a lot of that outside of them running the ball because that's going to keep Josh Allen off the field too.
Yeah, no safety's big. I mean, you're talking about a team with Amon-Ra who last week didn't have a huge game, but he was impactful when they needed him to be, and Jameson led the team in receiving yards. But you haven't really seen one of those J-Mo deep shots in a little bit here. I expect things to change.
Yeah.
I think this Lions offense is going to have their way. I really do. Once they're running the ball the way I think they're going to run the ball and they're working out a play action, Bills are going to have no answer for
I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see if now this turns into let's attack their secondary.
Yeah, you attack them in play action. You have a quarterback in Jared who's the best, if not one of the in play action. Like they're going to get whatever they desire offensively. The real thing is, to me, is what does this defense look like today? That's the big thing, and it's not like I expect them to hold the Buffalo Bills under 20 points, but can you get timely stops? Opportunistic turnovers, red zone defense, like that stuff's gonna matter today. I think the offense is gonna score 30. I mean, that's a given.
I think the offense is gonna score 30, but so is the Buffalo Bills offense. I love what Aaron Glenn has been doing, but at some point, especially when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, when there's two phases of the play when it comes to a quarterback like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You stop the design play, but then you have to stop the play that they create. And I think when you look at the injuries that they have in the linebacking room, that's going to be really crucial. Now, I don't think it's going to cost them the game, but it's going to cost them some big plays. Like Josh Allen is just a guy that you might be able to limit him from time to time, but you're not going to be able to stop. And with getting Dalton Kincaid back, Khalil Shakir's finding rhythm, Amari Cooper, like they have a ton of playmakers over there. So I think with the injuries, Josh Allen will put up some points. It's going to come down to who misses that one time, who turns the ball over, who doesn't convert the fourth down. I think it's going to come down to a play or two that will decide the game on the offensive side of the ball for the teams.
Yeah, it's going to be big. I mean, the fact that they're getting Keon Coleman back and they're getting Dalton Kincaid back, like you're going to see, like they put up 42 points on the Rams last week. I don't think the Rams, like as the Rams defense, I mean, obviously the Lions defense, I would say is better, but like overall,
it was an offensive game.
Overall, it's like you know what you're going into tonight. You're about to go into an absolute battle, a high scoring football game. And at the end of the day, it's like I'll just say this, and this was going to be on Booner Bets later. I put in an alternate line for the Lions team total, and it's like plus 300 almost. Just because I think it's going to be a high scoring
and this
game.
This is just something that I know we kind of talked about it earlier on in the week, but I feel like whenever we have obvious offensive matchups, it turns into a defensive game. What is the likelihood of that happening today, you think?
I think like it's in theory. I'm a big combat sports guy. When you look at two guys,
a big flex.
No, I'm going to make a comparison here. And stick with me, okay?
I'm a big combo. Okay,
two guys. It's like two guys that fight that are too big, like two guys that are KO monsters, right?
Yeah.
There'll be times where those fights, two guys know, okay, this guy I'm facing is a threat. He could potentially knock me out. Same vice versa.
Yep.
The fight might change. It's like two offensive heavy teams. It's like you expect it to be a high-scoring game. There's some times where it is more of like a defensive battle. Like it's like the opposite kind of. Like two grapplers fighting, they're going to stand up. You know, it's like it's just kind of how it works. There is a chance it becomes that. Do I think it's likely? No. But I think there is.
I think there is. We have seen it though this year. Like we've seen them at different games. Like you got a lot. Like the defense had like the Texans game. I know the first half was like that, but that second half was like, okay,
just opened up.
We need to figure something out here. And it could like that was a good. The Texans team, as much as they've been playing badly, they're still a good team. They have players and stuff. So it's like another type of like offense like that, but at a different level.
Yeah,
it's literally, guys. What's crazy to me is like we thought the 49ers game was going to be like this, like a meeting of the minds. Like
meeting of the minds.
This is the number 1 and the number 2 offense in the entire NFL.
Yeah,
that is insane. Like, think about that. Like, that's this matchup.
And it's even crazy that even I know we're looking forward, but like the Vikings, that's a top 5 offense without a doubt. So you looking forward, like, and again, kind of like the Houston Texans argument, you can apply the same thing to the San Francisco 49ers, where it's they're not a good team, but they have a lot of good players on that. And if we get that offense getting in a rhythm, that could be a scary offense. So this Lions defense is going to have a showcase tonight. I think this is where we're going to see, and we talked about it earlier on the show as well, Boone, like that difference that me and you had where it's like, is this edge rush help enough to stop the Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons? I think today is a huge look at that because you can correct the weaknesses in scheme-wise, but you're not going to get Aiden Hutchinson back. And a lot of the times, Super Bowl winning teams have an Aiden Hutchinson out there. So Aaron Glenn's been doing a great job. It's nothing against him. But personnel-wise, I think this is a huge opportunity to see what the Lions could look like in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl with this defense.
Yeah, agreed. It's a measuring stick. It's a litmus test. I've said that all week. I think it's fair to look at this defense and say, okay, how do they compare to, other defenses every week you're doing that, but when they face a guy like Josh Allen, who's the leading MVP candidate, like this is the ultimate litmus test. So yeah, I'm with you there. It's a good measuring stick, and you're at home.
Especially because the thing that scares me about it, just before we move off, is the amount of yards they're giving up. Because there's those offenses where you can give up the yards, but they're not going to convert it into points. And that's where I think a difference between Jordan Love, you look at how many yards they give up against the Packers compared to a Josh Allen, it's at least going to turn into 3. You know what I mean? Right. Like the point differential is going to be different. So I think that's why it's huge because we look at this defense and it's performing above where it should be. But in the playoffs, that's where it's going to matter, where quarterbacks that are going to turn those red zone opportunities where they're not getting anything or they're getting 3 into 7 or nothing into 3. And I think that's what's so crucial today.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look at this Bills team. They have a very good defensive line. So I think for that Taylor Decker coming back and kind of the offensive line getting healthy, that's so important. That's one thing I think the Bills do hang their hat on is they're going to get after you. They're going to get after you. And that's why they had success and they beat Patrick Mahomes. That's why they've had success and beat some pretty good teams this year. So the Lions running the football.
That's a great point.
The running the football, man, is going to be the most important thing. Now, is it everything? Could Jared still have a huge game? Yeah, absolutely. But I saw the comment, Matthew Evans, Jacob, thank you for the $2, by the way. He says Monty Gibbs going to have 200 yards rushing. If those guys can both have huge days today, it's going to make everything go smooth. You just keep the Bills offense undefeated.
Off the field. When both of those guys fall in the ends of the line, they're undefeated.
You have to, this is going to be a – You good?
I'm
trying to talk here. I'm trying to talk here. Go ahead, you go.
I already said my piece, Bill. I just crack up at the build up to some of your takes.
Listen. This Bills team, they beat there's Kansas City is 12-1. Their one loss, guess who it is? The Buffalo Bills. Like they're gonna be at Ford Field ready to go. Oh, Coach Walk. Coach Walk.
No.
Coach Walk just donated $100, $99.99.
There you go.
Merry Christmas to the boys.
Hey,
Merry Christmas, boys. Have a day on me. Go Lions.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, you know what? Merry Christmas, Coach.
Definitely.
Day one. That dude might have 30% stock in Crunch Night.
He's definitely when we get bigger, I should say, start traveling the country. We'll have our RV. There'll be a seat for Coach Walk. and every hour he gets to pick 3 songs that play on there. Like he gets control.
He gets one song. Me and Coach Walk will go head to head.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Booner throws a fit if he doesn't get his song.
Appreciate you, Coach Walk, for that. You're the man. You really are. That's big time. Well, I'm watching this Cleveland-Kansas City game. Sorry, we need no.
Lock here. We've got a pregame show to do. We got the Detroit Lions. Who cares about that game? They're up 21-7.
Who cares about Noah Gray? Who cares about him?
We're talking Lions here. What are we talking about? Lock in. Come on, man.
All right, go ahead. You passed it to Klotz. You never said anything.
I did. You just weren't listening because you were watching the game.
What did you?
I was talking to. All right, you guys go. I did say something. You guys just.
Coach Walk didn't say you donated.
He's rattled. I am, because every time I say something, you guys aren't listening, and then when you, this is unbelievable.
All right,
this is unbelievable.
Well,
to be honest.
Well, you know what?
Shout out Coach Walk.
Yeah, shout out Coach Walk. We had to interrupt there to kind of share some love there. But yeah, a lot of storylines in this game, guys. We got Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year. That's a big one. If he continues to win, you kind of got to give him the award. You got a big game going on, Pittsburgh Eagles, and that's Mike Tomlin. He's a Coach of the Year candidate. Dan Campbell, if he wins this game, I feel like he's already kind of locked up the award. You got to ship the award to his house, I think. If you beat the Bills, I think it's his award. And I'm saying that as someone who believes Sean Payton should have been in consideration, but it can't argue. If you beat the Bills, Dan Campbell wins Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is again, I've been saying it. This is the biggest matchup of the year. This is the toughest opponent you're going to have until you get to the playoffs.
Yep.
The 49ers aren't going to be on that level. The Vikings, yeah, they've only lost 2 games, but the are we good?
Good. Probably just got to watch that monitor. But either way, with the Vikings being in the north, and
you guys can hear us again, put it in the chat so we know.
No, yeah, they'll be good. But with the Vikings there, it's probably not going to be locked up till that last game unless the Vikings drop another one, which they could, but it just doesn't look like the way that they're playing right now. It looks like they're starting to find the rhythm offensively through the air, more than they have so far. So probably not to the end of the year, but the Vikings, and I know you don't like to hear it, Boone. It doesn't matter who the personnel is. Going to Chicago is always a hard game.
Sucks, man.
I know they always suck, though. They always suck, and the Lions have lost there, even with Jared Goff. That's the one game where it's a divisional game going to Chicago. It's always just a gritty matchup, and they made it close in Ford Field. I know that was with Matt Eberflus, but let's not brag like Matt Eberflus was a world beater. We all dogged on him now. It's still a dumpster fire. Dumpster fire with Eberflus or without.
I mean, they're dumpster fire whatever else. Who cares about
It's not like you're battling the Bears. I heard on the radio today they were talking about it, and they said it's not like it's not the Bears you're battling. You're battling the weather. It's just like a sucky place to play.
It's a tough matchup.
It's nothing. Yeah, they're NFL teams. You can't sleep in any team. But the Lions, the Eagles' schedule's a cakewalk. So they have to. You have to. If you get this one, it's huge. It's not like you're out of it if you lose. You'll be tied with the Eagles. But if they win this, and they have the Vikings at the end of the year, still have to go on the road, face the Bears. You got the 49ers. I mean, they still have some games here that not nearly as easy as the Eagles. I mean, they have the Giants twice, which is say less.
Drew Lock, DeVito.
I mean, that's 2 wins guaranteed for them. So pressure's on them. You want to get this 1 seed for injury purposes. So they gotta. I think today's important. I know people are like, well, it's AFC. I think we all came to the agreement. Number 1, you want to measure yourself up against the best. But number 2, you just got to win. You're in a race. Divisions never. I mean, the Vikings keep winning. You got to keep winning. You got to keep winning for the division, for the number 1 seed. and for the sake of this game, because it is I like to think a Super Bowl matchup. So you want to say you beat the Bills. You want to know you're good enough.
And it would suck if the Lions were to lose today, because I'm pretty sure the Eagles have a top.
NFC opponents. So say, knock on wood, today's the day where your Lions get their second loss. It's an AFC opponent. That division, you'll still hold that tiebreaker in the conference, and then you still obviously have the 49ers, Vikings, and Bears remaining. So if you win out, you still kind of have that tiebreaker. If that's the tiebreaker, I think it is conference games. It looks like here all these other ones. Unless you're head to head, the second one goes to the conference. Are you able to turn that down?
Sorry, I did.
I didn't know if you could hear it.
Just making sure we're good. That's all. Making sure the stream's good. Go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that was it. I was done saying. Listen, I was done talking.
All right. Sorry, I was just making sure. People are saying it was just make sure the stream was good. That's all. Yeah, we're waiting for the guy who's fixing. I don't know. Were you guys talking about?
Yeah, no, we were talking about the 1 seed.
Yeah, sorry. I was make sure the stream
I was just saying the Lions, like the 1 seed, obviously everybody wants, but if the Lions were to be in a circumstance where they get the 2 seed, you guys agree with me. But I think there's people out there who acting like Jared Goff going into Philadelphia would be like the world's ending. There's no way you get to the Super Bowl. But when you look at how the Lions have played on the road, they're undefeated on the road this year. If you look at Philadelphia, they're winning on the road, but it's in a much different type of way. So the Lions going on the road and getting the 2 seed, I think, yes, you'd rather have the 1, but this team going on the road is going to win. And that puts a chip on their shoulder saying, hey, we still need to prove ourselves. We blew the 1 seed opportunity that we had. And I think if they're a team with the chip on the shoulder, the last team, whether it's AFC or NFC, that you want to see come playoff time.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. One of my favorite things after last year finally got to the playoffs and won a game is just to see how this thing's gonna work, like play out. Like who are you gonna match up against? Who is everyone? Because I just they're and I know, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. Throughout the next couple of weeks, we'll start talking about matchups some more. But you're going to start seeing, ways to the Super Bowl. Who are you going to have to go through? And honestly, if you're the 1 seed, you really never know. Like we could have the conversations on the teams, but if a team like remember last year, like the Lions weren't supposed to get a second home game, and the Bucs go in basically upset the Eagles and blow them out, and then it's like, oh, you're not going to Philly anymore. You're going to Detroit versus the Bucs. So like anything, and especially at the 1 seed, like if a team upsets someone, you can play a completely different team. Like we could honestly, which crazy to think, like there's a chance and like you could end up playing like the Vikings and the Packers in the playoffs. Like imagine that.
Yeah, this division.
Don't let it be the Rams.
This division is insane. That's why, like the Vikings, they faced the Bears today. Monday night. Yeah, they're a touchdown favorite. I mean, the Packers got the Seahawks. This division, it's tough, and luckily the Lions are the best team. I mean, the best record-wise, especially we've seen in our lifetime. But they got to keep winning. I don't care who it is against. You just have to win. And 16-1 should be the goal. Maybe there's one in there.
That would be insane.
Maybe there's one in there, but still 15-2 at the worst.
Imagine if the Lions go to win a Super Bowl and they only lost 1 game all year. It was week 2 to the.
That would have to be like
the Bucs might hang a banner up.
They got the 1 win.
They did say I saw a tweet. I can't remember. I wish I could credit whoever it was, but I saw a tweet that said, going like if the Lions win out, they could be the first team, the second team in NFL history to go into playoffs. I think with the 15, or it would be a 15-game win streak. The 15-game win streak.
The Patriots back in the day, and then Don Shula's Dolphins.
Yeah.
And then if so, the Lions would probably be.
But a 15-game win streak. I'm saying so. The Patriots loss might have been later. They would be the second team of all time to ever go into the playoffs if they went out on a 15-game win streak. That's crazy.
It would probably
that's pressure because you haven't lost in 15 weeks. That's pressure.
It would have to be a top 5 NFL team of all time, at least just for that season.
Yes.
And I think the offense is already up there, but I think because offenses will win you games. They'll win you playoff games. When it comes to the Super Bowl, I think defense is what defines it. So if that defense is able to step up, Alex Anzalone coming back, we might be able to scoff at it a little bit, but I think John Kaminsky coming back can be huge, especially in the red zone. If that defense can step up. Jamal Adams out there in playoff time looking dangerous.
Think of Hutch was playing. Like, you were talking about, like, this could be one of the greatest teams of all time, a top 5 team of all time. You don't even have Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, Khalifa's down.
That's why AG's coming back.
It is insane.
Yeah,
it is insane.
The overcoming injuries, it happens in the NFL. It's going to be injuries, but what AG's doing right now,
he's doing a great job.
It's impressive. It really is. It really is. And I think when you look at, the NFC, we talked a lot about the Eagles and kind of how they match up. Like I like the Lions. I do. I like them in pretty much every match. I'm curious to see what the Eagles look like today against the Steelers. But the Lions, to me, the best team in the NFL. I mean, even though the Chiefs are beating the Browns, who cares?
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
The Chiefs have probably covered one game all year.
Kryptonic TV. They just covered this game here. Kryptonic TV, he just posted, he said, speaking of Hutch, anybody think a chance Hutch makes a surprise showing on the sideline today?
I think it's only a matter of time.
Well, so hold on. Question.
Yeah.
Are IR guys allowed to be on the sideline? Because
like in uniform or like just
at all?
Chilling?
Is there like a rule to where it's like if you're not with the team, you're not allowed to be with the team? Because we haven't seen Hutch. We haven't seen Davenport. Haven't seen Anzo. Like any of these IR guys, we have not seen with the team.
Oh, that's actually, you might be right.
The only player that we've seen with the team that didn't suit up was Zadarius Smith.
I'm trying to think of like catastrophic injuries.
Zadarius Smith was a guy that he got traded in. So like
injuries to good players that they were on the sideline after. Like I'm trying to think on the top of my head.
Like, not even like I feel like it's pointing out the obvious, but like if you're Hutch, you can get a box up in the suite with other guys. Like you can talk to like Barry and all that. You got a leg injury. Like you probably like I don't know why that you wouldn't be able to.
No, I think there's a rule.
Joe just said Rodgers was on the sideline last year.
Maybe I just don't see, honestly, if I'm just being completely honest, and this isn't at anyone, this is just me being like, why wouldn't the players want to be around the team? Like helping them out. Like you can't tell me Hutch can't go out there with all of these young guys.
Probably sucks being on the sideline.
It does, but like at that point, it's like, all right, well, you got to suck it up. Like go out there and help teach technique, give tips. Like you're trying to win a Super Bowl. Like you're trying to. That's just I've thought about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I wonder if there's something, and maybe it's something to where, like you said, Klotz with his leg, he doesn't want to put pressure on it, needs to be up. But I would just like Anzo. Anzo's got the arm injury. Why wouldn't he be down there talking with like Nowatzki and Ben Neiman and helping Jamal Adams out in that position? Like those, I just don't know. I had that thought the other day, and I was like, I feel like those guys should be down there helping the team out.
Yeah, because even like when McCaffrey was banged up, like he'd been on the sideline. Like there's guys where they go out for the season, they're on the sideline.
Yeah, just get them out of the way of the action. So
Matty B said in case they get hit. I don't know. Keep them on. I don't know. I feel like there's an out there.
Boone wants him out there.
I don't know.
Give him a helmet.
And Peter said don't want someone to run into him. Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. If that's why, that's fair. I just like they're not really at practices or anything. Like they're in the building doing like rehab, but like they're not really at practices. I don't know. I just feel like teaching.
I think when Hutch gets a little more, I think when time goes by, I think there'll be a time where he's on the sideline.
This isn't a bad thing, like saying anything, but and again, like everyone's saying in the game, and Chris said, "Let coaches coach." You guys remember what Zadarius Smith did when he defensive line was like that was the most helpful.
Sometimes it's better to hear a different voice, and a player's.
For me, it's more so just like in practice too. Like it goes guys out there like, hey, let's keep this thing going here. Like, hey, this is what I do. Yeah. Hey, I do this. This is what I do. It's not like you're in the NFL. It's not a let coaches coach type of league. It's the coaches will coach, but hey, these are vet players that played in the NFL for 5, 10, 12 years. Like,
right.
Like get out there and I don't know.
Well,
I would love for that to happen because I feel like it would make the team better.
We got about 13 minutes till the game starts here. So let's before we get into our final scores,
Booner bets.
Let's do Booner's bet.
All right, you guys are all taking it too, so we're all going to be riding the same thing. Got some singles.
Send it in the group chat yet?
I will send it.
I locked in the Booner's lay of the day.
Yep,
it's a great.
Are you able while I'm doing these? Can you send it to the group so all the guys can get in on it?
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's start off Booner's lay of the day. Listen, we hit like 4 straight weeks, and then the last 2 weeks we lost off Demont 2 weeks ago. Demont touchdown, and we had Amon-Ra 50 yards last week. That killed us. So we're bouncing back with Booner's lay of the day. Legacy player, I changed it on my drive over here. I told the boys I had one guy. I changed it. Once I heard all the injuries in the secondary, I have a new player. Let's do this. Let's just do single plays. You guys ready for the single plays? Single plays. First one, Jahmyr Gibbs. Klotz, this is for you. Over 91.5 all-purpose yards.
Love it.
Over 91. And I'll say this. This is how I love it so much. He was the original legacy player. He was the original legacy player.
It changed.
I also am doing Jamison Williams anytime touchdown and Jamison Williams
These are all
over
straight bets.
straight bets.
Okay.
Jamison Williams anytime touchdown and Jamison Williams over 51.5 yards. I think with that secondary depleted, I think Jamel's going to have a day today.
Love it.
What else did I have here? I also have, let me pull this up. Jack Campbell, defensive play, fellas. Jack Campbell over 8.5 all total tackles.
Was that plus money?
Plus 110.
Yeah, he's going
Jack
to be all
Campbell.
over the place.
Over 8.5 tackles plus 110. He's going to get Josh Allen a couple times. I have this now. Detroit Lions team total. I am on a specific app here. I don't know on specific apps if you're able to adjust it. I moved the line here for Lions team total. Guys, I moved it for the Detroit Lions to score 5 touchdowns. Over 34.5. It is plus 260 for over 34.5. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to,
creative, though.
it doesn't have to be 5 touchdowns. It could be field goals. You can get there however you want, but 35 points is 5 touchdowns. Give me that. Plus 260. If this is going to be a shootout, a big high-scoring game, I feel like that's very, very, very good value. I have a little 2-leg. This is basically even money, plus 116. Jared Goff, 250 yards, and Jared Goff, 2 touchdown passes. That's basically a single play for me. You like that one,
I like
Klotz?
that. 252 TDs. Yep.
All right, so those are the straight plays. I did sprinkle just a little half a unit on Lions 5 sacks today, plus 1,000. So if anyone wants to hop on that with me, I do enjoy that one. Let's do this now. Oh my gosh, should I show that one? D-Mont and Gibbs. Anytime touchdown, plus 161.
Yep.
Plus 161. All right, Booner's lay of the day. And shout out J-Rod here. He just donated $5. Said Jamal takes Josh Allen out. Let's go, Buffalo. I don't want to say anyone takes anyone out. Let's not do that.
But
here.
Jamal would be the guy if there were to be
He'll
something.
sack him. He won't hurt him. He'll sack him.
And hypothetically, if something happened or transpired, it would probably be Jamal.
All right, Booner's lay of the day, plus 618 here for the fellas today. Are you guys ready for this one? 6 legs. 6 legs. Let's start off here with easy. Move the alternate total down, and I put it in the parlay. Over 23.5. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple. Simple. Next one, anytime touchdown score, David Montgomery.
Let's do. I like both
Simple.
so far.
Jameer Gibbs, 80 all-purpose yards. Lower it down to 80 all-purpose yards.
Legs.
David
Like it.
Montgomery, 60 all-purpose yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 50 receiving yards. We're running that one back from last week. The 2 that made us lose the last 2 weeks, D-Mont touchdown and Amon-Ra 50 yards, right back in on it.
Okay.
And the last leg, the 6th leg here, Jamison Williams, 3 catches. That is it. That's it.
Love
He's
that.
had 5 in the last, 2 weeks?
Yes, over 23.5. D-Mont touchdown, Gibbs 80, D-Mont 60, Amon-Ra 50, and JMO 3 catches, plus 618, fellas. We're riding that one.
Love it.
That one's hitting.
Yeah, good stuff, Boone.
That one's
I already got the parlay in.
What
Get
are
the parlay
odds
in.
on it?
Plus 618.
Yep, with the boost. Use the boost.
All right, and then the final
Who's this legacy player?
legacy player.
What we got?
I switched it. I told you guys it was Jameer Gibbs first. I still kept the Jameer Gibbs bet in, but I said, hey, legacy player, there's one player we go all in on. We put everything that we have left here in our sportsbook, we go on that. One player who had a bad week last week is going to look for a bounce back week. You know who that is?
Oh,
I think I do.
Fellas, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown,
God.
the Sun God, over 70.5 total
I
yards.
can't hate on it.
70.5 yards, plus 110, I think it is right now to score a touchdown. Go get that right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys, prime time. I think this is a prime time America's game of the week. Give it to me. Plus 110 touchdown, over 70.5 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, legacy player.
this
Love it,
I can
Love
see
it.
Amon-Ra.
All of those
Guys,
secondary players hurt.
Bone, I love that for
Rat,
a lot of reasons. And
Hamlin.
I was talking to you earlier about it. You didn't mention him. This is something that was
Yes.
brewing. I could see it. What's the last time Amon-Ra had a 100-yard game? He's due. He's
Yeah,
due
he
for
is.
100 yards. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I called it last week. I
Big
was
game.
off.
He's a big game player, too. This is the biggest game of the season. You don't
Yeah.
think Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're going to have plans for Amon-Ra
He's
St.
due.
Brown to step up? All right, come on now, man.
He's
Come
due. Good stuff. Love it. And also, any app, get those bets in. You can rewind. Always check out his parlay.
Game scores. We got 8 minutes here till kickoff.
Yeah.
Let's do some-
So
I'm switching mine from the other day, by the way.
I am too.